Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is podcast number 20. We are Toastmasters Talents Unlimited Toastmasters Club, and we want to welcome you this evening. We meet every Wednesday at 7 p.m., and we just want to welcome you today with another outstanding topic, we feel, and we invite you to listen at a time of your convenience. Or if you happen to see the link on our social platforms, come join us here on Talents Unlimited. Tonight, we have a special occasion. We are going to talk about life coaching. Life coaching. So let me just start off by saying, in this era of constant striving for self-improvement, we have self-improvement classes you can take, a multitude of different self-improvement venues. But in this era of self-improvement, the concept of life coaching has gained immense popularity. The allure of having a personal guide to navigate life's challenges and unlock one's potential is undeniable. But is having a life coach truly the key to a fulfilling life? Tonight, we have our own Jim Kearney, who's going to enlighten us a little bit about life coaching as he delves into the pros and cons and explores whether it's a necessary investment or just a trendy fad. So I want to welcome Jim Kearney, our distinguished Toastmaster. So Jim, what is a life coach? And let's start from there.
Life coaching is exactly what it says. You have a coach who teaches you how to live. Today's society is there's just so much going on, and everyone has so many different things and bombarding them from the left and the right, from up, down, sideways, and everyone gets confused about what's going on. And they say, "I don't have enough time. I need to learn time management." Well, in fact, there's no such thing as time management. There's only priority management. So what's a priority for you? Now, people, when they sit there and think about that, they don't really realize what's the priority because they've never sat there and looked at their life and said, this is where I want to go, and map out a plan on how to get there. And of course, that's where your life coach comes in, right? So you have someone who comes in to help you set up the different pieces depending on what goals that you want to reach. And everything that you do needs to be working towards that goal. Anything that's not working towards that goal, you basically just rip it out of your life because it's a waste. Now, back in the olden days, this is what was called a purposeful life. I don't I don't know how many people remember reading about purposeful lives, but I when I was 11 years old, I had already mapped out my whole entire life and I told my family, this is what's going to happen. And they laughed at me and, oh, you'll change your mind 1,000 times from now and blah, 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 blah. But, I laid out all the different pieces, who, who I was going to get married to, how many kids I wanted, et cetera, et cetera. And I did follow through with all of them, except that I'm not yet a millionaire and I do not yet own my own island. But I'm working on them. I'm still working on them. I haven't lost sight of those two goals. But all the rest have happened. So, what is it that you want out of your life, Robert?
Well, I agree with you for one thing. First of all, there is no such thing as time management; it's priority management, and that those priorities have to be your agenda, not somebody else's. So, with respect to my own priorities, it's always continual education. For some reason, you know, I'm always seeking to be more and more educated on a variety of subjects, not focused on one particular thing, and building skills, continually building skills, and just using this to in both personal and professional life. So where do I want to go with a life coach? Probably help me define, clarify my goals, and maybe identify roadblocks that I may not see. So
Okay,
those
well,
are some of the things I see.
let's do that. Let's see if we can identify roadblock you can't see right now.
Mhm.
If you retire today, do you have enough money in savings that you can do so?
Yes, but I would still continue to want. I have that instinct of always. I don't want this to sound selfish, but just to want more. I don't want to stop. Okay. It just happens that when you continually learn from me, the monetary aspect is part of the benefits.
It's not a benefit, it's a requirement. So
Well,
I'm asking this for a reason, right? So you
okay.
have a certain lifestyle that you're used to,
Yep.
right? So if you turn around and you got rid of your job, which is currently maintaining your lifestyle, do you have enough passive income to replace that income?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Right this very second. Sure.
okay. And is it put on auto? Do you have autopilot running already?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Auto meaning auto pay
Autopilot.
or autopilot?
So
Yeah, I would say yes.
if you have the funds,
Mhm.
then you have them sitting somewhere where they're generating some income, and that
Mhm.
income is automatically paying everything else out for you.
Mhm.
Is that taking place?
Yes.
Awesome. Good for you. So that's the first thing you have to be worried about. If you have that, that means you no longer have to work and trade your time for someone else's money. You can now work for yourself.
True.
So, what are you doing now? And do you love it enough to keep doing it? And if so, how do you do that on your own?
You mean take what I'm doing now and apply
Uh,
it to like being an entrepreneur or what?
yes, right. You want to own your own business. So what
Ye-
are the steps that you need to do in order to own your own business and still do the thing that you're loving?
Well, it's an interesting question. It's something that I've been contemplating. I don't want this particular tonight's podcast to be about me, but you asked the question. I always think about the entrepreneurship and many different business business prospects. As an example, landscaping. And what the reason why I think of these opportunities is because I'm always dissatisfied of the service that certain businesses provide. Okay, as an example, landscaping.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm really ticked off about city landscapers who are contracted by the city, and I'm really highly disappointed in the service that they provide. It's inadequate, just totally disappointing. So that's one as an example. Another one would be okay, solar players, solar panels, solar panels. As an example, everyone's putting these solar panels on, but who's cleaning them, right? So that's another entrepreneurial thought that that I may be thinking of that I thought of, and it's getting to the point when I'm because of inadequacies that I'm thinking pretty seriously of it.
Well, good. You might want to talk to Carolyn. So Carolyn, I understand, has her own business up and running. And she had to take certain steps to get there. Right, so maybe Carolyn can help you along the way on how to make those different things happen for your own
Mhm.
business. Carolyn, can you tell us something about that?
But one thing you have to do is if you're gonna run your own business, you have to set yourself some hours like you're in business. Because a lot of times what happens when people are in their business, they do other stuff rather than doing income producing activities.
Mhm.
So if you wanted to be a solar panel cleaner, I know it's a lot of people that do have solar and they need cleaning. You could set yourself up with a DBA. You could also, research what equipment that you need, who your clientele are going to be, and just make it happen.
Mhm.
In another Toastmasters Club, we talked about fear and courage. So you may be afraid to get out there and start your own business for certain reasons, but action cures fear. So if you want to do that, that's what I would do. Because
Mhm.
with the landscaping, the reason that the landscaping is so bad is because that's what people allow. They allow the people that's doing the landscaping to do minimal work, and they
Mhm.
probably don't pay them enough because landscaping is not easy. I did some landscaping with my grandfather when I was growing up because that's what he did for a living. So I
Mhm.
know all about landscaping and what it entails.
Mhm.
Because when they brought out the leaf blowers and all of that stuff to make landscaping easier, it really did not. It caused to me a big mess. That's why you have sewers that's stopped up because you're blowing the leaves into the sewer.
Mhm.
So, whatever you want to do, make a decision. Do a little research on it.
Mhm.
And how hard do you want to work? Do you want to have people that work for you? Or are you doing everything yourself? Are you going to have we call it a tribe, where you have your accountant, your lawyer, and all the people that's going to work with you to make your business run successfully.
Mhm. Well, that's good
So that's
advice.
So you notice that she laid out a whole bunch of things there.
She sure did.
The
She sure did.
tribe, the research that you have to do in order to get things up. So what you do is you would take all the information that she said, you would lay them all out. You would prioritize which ones that you want to do and in what order that you have to do them in. And then, of course, you would go out and you would attack them one at a time.
Mhm.
Now, she did mention an acronym, DBA. I'm
Yes.
assuming that's doing business as.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna do a DBA. That means you're going to register your business name somewhere and then turn around and go to a bank, open up an account with you doing business as that entity.
Mhm.
When you do that, you have to, when you register your business name, do it in a place that won't tax you. So you got like Nevada and Delaware. So there's no business taxes in order to get stuff going.
Mhm.
So you register there and then you do business wherever you want.
Meaning when you say wherever I want
You can do it in
to
California,
include. Okay. Okay.
right? But you don't register the business in California. Register it outside,
Yes.
right? So
Okay.
you're not getting sucked into California business taxes.
Yeah. At my age, in this particular case, I'm not going to be claiming any second story homes, right? So, so I'm going to have to to hire somebody, but I better get some insurance. That's for sure, right? Because
Every business needs insurance, right? You have
yeah,
to have it.
so yeah, so and I think that's even going to be limited too because of all the insurance company leaving the state. But yeah, I appreciate that, Karen. That it gave us some good thoughts, because I didn't. I'm sure there's possibly a little bit more, like building an action plan and how I want to do it.
Hmm. You also have to build your clientele and all that other stuff. And
Yeah.
again, it all goes into priority lists, right? So
Mhm.
the good thing is you have resources available to you. a lot of people, when they first start, they jump right in there and they say, okay, let's go. And they throw in some money and off they run. It
Mhm.
doesn't work that way. And so my dad used to tell me, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang around millionaires.
That's true.
And the whole thought process was, you need to be around people who have done it. So if you want to start your own business, you need to be around people who have started their own business. They're the
Okay,
ones who
so
can help you and guide you.
okay, so because life coaching is not really it's not a regulated industry, or if there is, it's not heavily regulated.
It's not regulated.
Yeah, okay, so determining a coach, the training from a life coach, perhaps there's certifications and
There's different
experiences.
certifications. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And so you would hire the life coach specific to what you want. So if you wanted someone who knows about business and how to start businesses, then that's the life coach that you would hire.
Mhm.
If you wanted someone who does nutrition, then you'd hire a nutritional life coach. If you wanted someone who does physics or sports or something like that, then you would hire that type of a life coach.
Mhm.
So life coaching is broken up into all the different parts of your life. It's
Mhm.
not one person who comes in and does everything for you.
Mhm. If you have in my particular case, thinking about solar panel cleaning, I don't
Mhm.
think there's too many of those out there. They're far and few between. So getting advice from them, if you will, outside of the community, because you have your own borders, if you will, your own areas of expertise. So finding those type of people to hang around with would probably be pretty challenging. However, as you just indicated, getting a coach to navigate, let's say, obstacles I may perceive, because they may or may not even be an obstacle.
Well,
They're getting the.
you would get a life coach that builds businesses,
Okay.
and they would walk you through all the different people. And they would do the things that Carolyn was doing. Like
Mm,
they have the expertise on where to file, how to file, when to file,
okay.
and all
Okay.
that kind of stuff, right? What type of accounts to set up, what type of lawyers you need, what type of insurance you need. They have all that information,
Okay.
and
Sounds
then
great.
walk you through all the different steps and one piece at a time, and you move forward.
And there is an organization called SCORE, SCORE, that have mentors for different businesses. It's free of
Mhm.
charge. Look up SCORE, SCORE organization. There are
Okay.
some in this area.
Okay. Great. Great. That sounds great.
Now
So life coach.
you probably didn't expect to get all that information in one meeting, but
Yeah, I didn't.
surprise,
I didn't. But
surprise.
what in this particular topic, you opened up a question about, what was my thoughts on, opportunities and where I want to go, and I brought up entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur. But what about life coach and education? How
You
do you see
can,
the applicability there? You
you can get a life coach who will direct you to the different places you need to go in order for you to learn the different things that you want to learn.
Mhm.
So if you wanted to learn how to do solar panel stuff, then they would direct you to the right place, and you
Mhm.
can go get the education that you want. The only difference between where you stand right now and that doctor next door is an education.
Mhm.
The only difference between where you are now and that lawyer down the street is an education. The only difference between where you are right now and where you want to go is an education. The information is out there, stuff is out there, and you can do it. Now, if you want to become an expert, you do it for 10,000 hours
Yeah.
and you
Not
become
at the
the expert in the
same,
field.
yeah, not on the same job site, right?
Yeah, well, of course not. But you get the point, right? You
Yeah.
really want to do something, you master it. It takes like 10,000 hours. That's the key number. That's what everyone says. If you want to do something, do it for 10,000 hours and you'll be the expert in it, regardless of what it is. And so if that's what you want, then there you go. That's what
Mhm.
you work on.
Mhm. Well, that's something to contemplate.
Yeah,
That
life coaching really isn't all that difficult. It's it's a simple matter of identifying where you want to go, highlighting the priorities, and then working on them. It's just like Carolyn said, right? People go out there and if they want to start their own business, but they go off and do other things,
Mhm.
and they're not concentrating on the business. So all of a sudden, that purposeful life that was going down here on one purpose suddenly went like that. Well, all the stuff that's out here isn't solving the stuff that's in here. So you need to come back and you need to refocus. Right? So you focus on what you want to accomplish. And anything that's not focused on that, anything that doesn't work towards that, needs to be ripped out and thrown away.
Is there a difference? I'm going to reflect a little bit with Toastmasters. We're going to focus on Toastmasters. Now, we in Toastmasters we don't have a life coach, but I was wondering, is the mentor in Toastmasters considered a life coach in some ways?
It's basically the same thing. But
Okay.
they're centralized on just the public speaking aspect. That's
Mhm.
it. So if
And
that's
then
what you
the
wanted, then yes, sure.
yeah, and then the VP of Education, would that be a what would that be considered? Because normally speaking, it's
The VP of Education is a record keeper. It's a
okay.
record keeper and a pusher.
So when you have a new member that comes in with respect to Toastmasters, isn't isn't it highly recommended that they meet with that new member
VP.
to find out what they want to
Yep.
do? Yeah.
Yep. And they set up
Okay.
an educational plan for them.
Hmm.
But they don't sit there and say, this is where you go, this, right? It's all already laid out
Hmm.
in Toastmasters, right? So the VP of E or whoever the mentor is basically pointing them in the right direction. And instead of feeding them, they're teaching them how to fish.
Hmm.
So
That's
it's
one
not
thing.
quite the same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And several months ago, this particular club, Talents Unlimited, we had a change of venue. And we didn't really have a life coach, but we kind of felt our way through, and we seek knowledge. I believe Carolyn had a person that was well, we did bring in somebody that was what's her name, Tavia?
Javier, yeah.
Yeah, Tavier. Yeah,
Javier and
she.
Annie were both here.
Yeah, yes, that's right. So, in a way, that we had a life coach in how to develop a podcast such as we have, and we have a long ways to go, but every week it seems to be getting a little bit easier, and we keep learning and learning and learning. And if there are any other clubs out there within Toastmasters, obviously, we would be able to help chip in and help develop them to help them evolve as well as um, always seeking a life coach for ourselves. So, is a life coach something that is always a continuous? How do I want to say something that's always continuously needed?
No. If
I
you
guess I would go ahead.
if you have a certain goal that you want to reach, and when you reach that goal, your life coach is nothing anymore, right? You've accomplished what you needed.
Hmm.
So you either change your goals or you add on goals, and then
Hmm.
you decide whether or not you need that life coach anymore. But coaching is always short term. Mentorship is always long term. So there's a big
Okay.
difference.
Hmm.
So for a coach, if I was going to be a life coach for you to learn how to run a mile, right? So I would sit there and I would teach you how to do this and teach you the ins and outs about it. And then if you decided, okay, I can run a mile, I don't have a problem anymore, I don't need you. Right? So the life coach goes away.
Mhm.
But then if you want to turn around and say, all right, I can run a mile. Now, how do I run a marathon? And then you decided, okay, I'm going to extend my life with this coach and I'm going to do something new. But when you start running marathons and you start learning all the different pieces and you've got it all down because you run 100 marathons or 200 marathons, you don't need the coach anymore.
Mhm.
You got everything. You're becoming an expert yourself, right? You've done it for 10,000 hours. What do you need the coach for? So the coach goes away.
So Carolyn, with respect to a life coach and the business that you do you have you seeked any more information to learn perhaps additional marketing or inventory in any way, shape, or form? In anything?
Okay, so like I'm in Mary Kay, so we have life coaches. We would consider our directors kind of like a life coach because they guide us and provide information with us. We have a meeting every week, so they provide different informations. We have what they call get-togethers, or not get-togethers, seminars. We have a seminar. We have career conference. We have conferences and seminars that have classes where we can learn more about the business
Mhm.
and how to speak to people, how to get customers, how to recruit people. We have that every year. We have the career conference and the seminar. I just came back from career conference. So we have
Okay.
classes all the time that guide us and how to be the best Mary Kay consultant that we can be.
Mhm.
And you make a decision on how you want to go.
Yeah, so those are not quite life coaches, right? Those are more like mentors within the field,
Right.
right? So they're long-term type things, right? So if you want to take life coaching and you want to wrap it up into a definition, then I guess the best way to define it is to say that a life coach is a wellness professional. They help people progress in their lives to attain fulfillment, right? So your life isn't what you want it to be. It's not as full as you want it to be. It's not as happy as you want it to be. So your life coaches, they add to their client uh things about improving relationships, improving careers, improving their day-to-day lives, to make them feel more fulfilled, to make them feel more important in the daily living, right? So everyone wants to feel like they're part of something bigger, right? So the life coach is always there trying to make you move in that direction.
Right, because the definition of a life coach is to help clients build a vision for their future and then help them evolve into the kind of person who lives that vision.
Correct.
Right.
So it's a wellness thing, right? So again, it goes back to what my father said. If you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang around millionaires, right? So
Mhm.
if you are not fulfilled, then you do like what Carolyn was saying, right? So the coach comes in and they make you go in the direction that you want to go, and they build you up. They provide you the tools and things like that in order to get to where you want to go.
Well, there you have it, everyone. There you have it there. I would like to just wrap this up. I want to thank our speaker for the evening, our life coaches, and with such great advice. And we had a lively discussion on life coach and what the expectations are. And I have my notepad here of getting a DBA and out of state and equipment and the clientele. So a wealth of information. And this was just on one particular topic of entrepreneurship. So I'll get it right. I'll get it right. But there you have it. I want to thank everyone for your participation tonight. And for our audience, I want to thank you for joining us. And hopefully, if you feel inspired about this particular topic, we invite you to join us at our next Talents Unlimited discussion, our podcast, which meets every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And we are out and all of the social platforms. And I invite you to look out for those links so you can join us and have a good time. And if you're in Toastmasters, especially if you're in Toastmasters, we invite you as well so you can practice those skills that we spend so much time trying to develop. So again, thank you very much for joining us. This podcast will be available in about 24 hours and we will post it. Thank you again, and we wish you a good night.
See you next week.
You bet.